They say time changes everything, but when I first met Freddie, I felt like time stood still, frozen in a moment where nothing else mattered except the pull between us. My name is Astraya, from a distant star system called Elara Prime, where the skies shimmer with hues humans have never dreamed of. I was young, too young to understand the complexity of emotions stirring inside me. But from the moment Freddie smiled at me across the crowded bazaar of New Avalon, something ignited. Freddie was human, curious, grounded, and full of quiet strength. He wasn't like the others who stared or whispered behind my back because of the strange markings that traced my skin or the faint glow in my eyes. To him, I was simply Astraya. And maybe that was why I fell so hard, so fast. But love between a human and an alien isn't something the galaxy easily accepts. "You should wait," he said one evening, voice heavy with concern as we watched the twin suns dip below the horizon. "Come back when you're older, when the world makes more sense." His words stung, but I understood. The universe was bigger than just us, and there were dangers I couldn't face, not yet. So I left. I vanished into the dark stretches of space to a hidden enclave where the elders taught me to harness my gift, an ability to manipulate energy fields, to bend light and shadow. I grew not just in age, but in power and purpose. Years passed, marked by stars and distant nebulae. I became something new, no longer the naive girl who clung to dreams of a forbidden love, but a woman shaped by loss and determination. Still, Freddie never left my thoughts. The memory of his laugh, his steady gaze, haunted me like a ghost tethered to my heart. When I finally returned to New Avalon, the city was unrecognizable. Glass towers pierced the sky, and androids moved among humans like whispers of the future. But the pulse of the place felt familiar, as if it were waiting for me. I found Freddie working at the docks, his hands steady despite the chaos around him. The years had etched lines of experience on his face, but his eyes, those bright, steady eyes, were still the same. I wanted to tell him how much I'd changed, how much I'd risked just to come back, but words felt small compared to the storm inside me. He looked at me, confusion and something like hope flickering across his face. "Astraya, you came back." "I did," I said, stepping forward, feeling the weight of every moment we lost. "I'm not the girl you told to wait anymore." Freddie's silence said more than words ever could. Around us, the world spun faster than ever, but in that instant, it was just us, two souls caught between past and future. Our story wasn't just about love. It was about defying fate, breaking barriers no one believed we could cross. I wasn't sure if Freddie was ready for the path ahead, but I knew one thing. I was ready to fight for us no matter the cost. The city of New Avalon glittered under a sky thick with neon and starship trails, but all I could see was Freddie, the man who had told me to come back when I was older, the one who unknowingly carved an unhealable mark on my heart. I had waited, and I had changed. But would he recognize me now? Standing before him felt like confronting a mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces. Each fragment reflected a different version of myself. The girl who dreamed of love among the stars, the warrior who had trained in shadows, and the woman who was ready to rewrite her destiny. Freddie's eyes searched mine, trying to find the girl he once knew, but all he found was a stranger with fire in her gaze. "You've been gone a long time," he said, voice roughened by years and unspoken pain. "I had to learn who I was," I answered, the weight of my journey pressing on my chest. Out there in the void, I became something new. Freddie swallowed hard. "I waited. I hoped you'd come back safe. I never thought you'd come back like this." "Neither did I confessed. "I thought I'd be just a girl, but I'm not. I'm stronger, I've seen galaxies collapse and rise. I carry their stories inside me. For a moment, the hum of the city faded. It was just us, two souls tangled in a cosmic dance of hope and fear. The truth was, I wasn't the only one who had changed. Freddie carried his own scars, wounds invisible but deep. I saw it in the way he flinched when a stranger brushed past him, the way his hands trembled when he thought no one was watching. "What happened to you?" I asked softly. He hesitated, then looked away. Life. Loss. The kind that steals your breath and leaves you hollow. I reached out, my fingers barely grazing his arm. "You don't have to carry it alone." He turned back, eyes glistening with unshed pain. "I never wanted you to get caught in my storms. That's why I told you to wait." "But waiting felt like dying," I whispered. Every day apart was a wound I couldn't heal. Freddie's jaw clenched. "I thought I was protecting you. Maybe I was just protecting myself." I shook my head. "You gave me strength in your absence. I'm not the scared girl anymore, but this." I gestured around us, the city alive with technology and secrets. "This world is dangerous, and there are people who want to keep us apart." He frowned. "Who?" I hesitated. There were whispers, dark forces tied to my origins, shadowy figures from Elara Prime who believed my return would disrupt the balance, and humans who feared what I represented. "They don't want us to be together," I said quietly. "But I don't care anymore. I'm done running." Freddie looked at me, torn between hope and dread. "If you're serious about this, you'll need to trust me. Trust that I can protect you." I smiled, a fragile curve but genuine. "I want to trust you. I've waited long enough." That night, under the fractured glow of the city's stars, we made a pact, not just of love, but of defiance. Together we would face the shadows lurking in both our worlds. But as dawn approached, a chill crept in. The peace was fragile, and danger was closer than we realized. The next morning I found a message waiting for me, encrypted, ominous. It bore the emblem of the Council of Elders from my homeworld. They had tracked my return. My every move was watched. Freddie saw the fear in my eyes. "What is it?" I handed him the hollow message. The council demanded I return immediately. They warned that my presence endangered the fragile peace between humans and Elarens. "I can't go back," I said firmly. "Not now." He nodded, understanding the impossible choice before me. "Then we fight." That was the moment I realized our love was more than a story. It was a revolution. Days turned into nights, filled with secret meetings and whispered plans. Freddie introduced me to a group called the Vanguard, humans and aliens alike who believed in unity beyond fear. They trained me in tactics and strategy, blending my alien abilities with human ingenuity. But the council was relentless. Their agents lurked in shadows, trying to capture me, to erase the hope I represented. One evening, while scouting the city's underbelly, I sensed a presence, a familiar coldness that made my skin prickle. I turned to see a figure cloaked in darkness, eyes glowing with an eerie light. "Why do you defy us, Astraya?" the figure hissed. "You belong with us. Return or be destroyed." I squared my shoulders, channeling the energy coursing through me. "I belong where I choose, and right now, that's with him." Freddie stepped forward, weapon drawn. "Back off." The shadowed figure laughed, vanishing into smoke. "This isn't over." I looked at Freddie, heart pounding. "They won't stop, but neither will we." Freddie smiled, the weight of years lifting for a moment. "Then we're in this together." That night, as we watched the city's lights flicker, I felt something I hadn't dared in years. Hope. Hope that love could survive galaxies. Hope that I could finally be home. The days that followed tested everything I thought I knew about strength and trust. New Avalon's glittering skyline hid dangers beneath its polished surface, dangers I never imagined facing when I first dreamed of returning to Freddie. But this was no longer a simple story of forbidden love. It had become a battle for survival, for freedom, for a future neither of us could predict. Freddie and I moved cautiously, our footsteps weaving through the labyrinthine alleys of the city's lower districts. The vanguard had become our sanctuary, a band of rebels united by hope and defiance. Among them were humans and aliens who refused to bow to fear, who believed that peace was not just a dream but a possibility worth fighting for. In those hidden quarters, I discovered new facets of myself. My alien abilities, once raw and unpredictable, began to sharpen. I learned to manipulate light, to cloak my presence and bend shadows to my will. Freddie watched, amazement flickering in his eyes, but also a fierce protectiveness that never waned. One evening, as we trained beneath the dim glow of flickering lamps, Freddie paused, his expression heavy. "Astraya, I'm scared. Scared of losing you to this war you didn't ask for." I took his hands in mine, grounding myself in his warmth. "Fear means we care, but we can't let it control us. We have something worth fighting for." He nodded, squeezing my hands before pulling me close. For a moment, the world outside ceased to exist. Just us, two souls intertwined, bound by a love that transcended galaxies. But peace was fleeting. A coded alert shattered the silence. The Council's agents had found a lead. Someone within the vanguard was a traitor. Suspicion rippled through the group like a poison. Trust, once unshakable, cracked under the weight of betrayal. Freddie and I worked tirelessly to uncover the mole, sifting through whispered conversations and hidden transmissions. The realization that one of our own was aiding the enemy was a brutal blow. It meant that every plan, every safe house, every moment of respite was under threat. Then, the unthinkable happened. Late one night, as we returned from a reconnaissance mission, the Vanguard's headquarters was ambushed. Explosions ripped through the walls, sending debris and panic swirling in the air. Shouts echoed as friends scrambled for cover. I grabbed Freddie's arm, pulling him into the shadows. "We have to get out! Now!" We fled through secret tunnels, the sounds of chaos pursuing us. As we emerged into the cold night air, my heart pounded. Not just from the escape, but from the crushing weight of loss. Some of our comrades had been captured and others were missing. Freddie's face was grim. "They want to break us, to crush the spark we carry." But I refused to let the darkness win. "We'll rebuild," I said fiercely. "Stronger, smarter." The days that followed were a blur of planning and regrouping. I found myself questioning everything. The loyalty of those around me, the true intentions of the Council, and even the path I had chosen. Yet, through it all, Freddie remained my anchor. His quiet strength steadied my resolve when doubt crept in. One evening, as we stood atop a rooftop overlooking the city's neon veins, Freddie whispered, "I don't know what the future holds, but I know I want to face it with you." I smiled, tracing the line of his jaw. Together, we're unstoppable. But fate had more twists in store. A message arrived, a challenge from the Council's leader, a figure cloaked in mystery and power. They demanded a meeting, a chance to negotiate or face total annihilation. Freddie looked at me, uncertainty shadowing his eyes. "Do we go?" I felt the weight of destiny pressing down. This was no longer just about us. It was about the fragile hope of unity between worlds. "We have to," I said, "but on our terms." Preparations began. Allies were called, strategies refined. The meeting would be risky, but refusing meant war. As the day approached, tension crackled in the air. I trained harder, pushing my abilities to new limits. Freddie stood by me, unwavering, even as the threat of betrayal lingered. When the moment came, we stepped into the council's chamber, a vast hall bathed in cold, sterile light. Faces masked with authority and suspicion surrounded us. The leader's voice echoed, calm yet menacing. "Why do you defy the natural order, Astraya? Why risk everything for a human who cannot understand your world?" I met their gaze steadily. Because love is stronger than fear. Because we choose to believe in a future where differences don't divide us. Freddie stepped forward, his voice steady. "We want peace, but it must be mutual." The room fell silent. In that heavy stillness, I realized that the battle was not just for survival. It was for acceptance, for breaking chains forged over centuries. As we awaited their response, I glanced at Freddie and felt a surge of determination. No matter what came next, we had already won. We had found each other. The council's chamber seemed to close in on us, the sterile light casting long shadows that mirrored the weight of their judgment. Silence stretched taut like a wire, every breath a challenge. Then the leader spoke again, voice low and edged with something colder than authority: contempt. "You speak of love, Astraya, but love does not bend the laws of nature. Your union threatens the balance our worlds have fought to maintain for centuries." I stood taller, every fiber of my being defiant. Balance built on fear is no balance at all. We can forge a new way, one where fear doesn't dictate our choices. Freddie stepped beside me, his hand brushing mine, a silent vow of solidarity. "We aren't here to break your world, only to build bridges between ours." Murmurs rippled through the council. Some faces softened, others hardened. It was clear. Acceptance would not come easily. Suddenly one elder rose, a woman with eyes like molten silver. Her voice was sharp. "You underestimate the dangers, Astraya. The technologies you wield, the alliances you seek, could spark conflicts that consume us all." I met her gaze steadily. "Or they could save us. The galaxy is vast, but divided we fall. Together, we have a chance." The chamber erupted into debate, voices rising, falling, clashing like storms. Amid the chaos, I caught Freddie's eye. We shared a breath of hope and fear tangled together. After what felt like an eternity, the leader's gavel fell. "We will grant you a trial period. Prove your intentions and show that peace is possible. Fail, and the consequences will be dire." Relief flooded me, mingled with the sharp edge of responsibility. This was no victory, only the first step on a perilous path. Outside, the city pulsed with indifferent life, unaware of the fragile peace hanging by a thread. Freddie pulled me close. "We've got one chance. Let's make it count." Days turned into weeks as we worked tirelessly. The vanguard rallied, community leaders convened, and I reached out across divides, hoping to stitch together a tapestry of trust. But shadows lurked still. Reports came of sabotage, misinformation campaigns, and hidden hands stirring unrest. Not everyone wanted peace. One night, while poring over encrypted data, I uncovered evidence of a faction within the council itself. Those who saw our trial as a threat to their power. They plotted to undermine us from within. I shared the truth with Freddie. His jaw tightened. We're not just fighting old prejudices. We're battling those who fear change. Our mission had evolved into something more dangerous. It was no longer just about us, or even the vanguard. It was a fight for the soul of two worlds. As the trial period neared its end, I faced the reality that love, hope, and courage might not be enough. But with Freddie by my side, I was ready to challenge fate itself. Together we would face the coming storm and whatever came after. The night air was thick with tension as Freddie and I prepared for what felt like the most critical moment of our lives. The trial period granted by the council was ending, and the future of our fragile alliance hung in the balance. Every step we took, every word we spoke, was under scrutiny. Failure wasn't just disappointment. It meant annihilation, a return to the darkness of division and war. The city of New Avalon buzzed with unease, its neon lights casting flickering shadows that mirrored the uncertainty in my heart. But amid the swirling doubts, one thing was clear. We had come too far to turn back now. The vanguard mobilized, its members resolute, yet wary. They had seen too much to be naive, yet hope still flickered like a fragile flame within their ranks. Freddie moved beside me, steady and unwavering, his presence a balm against the storm of anxiety raging inside me. We weren't just fighting for ourselves anymore. We were fighting for everyone who believed in the possibility of unity. Our plan was bold. We would demonstrate to the Council and to the worlds, watching that cooperation between humans and Elarans could yield peace and prosperity. The project involved sharing technology that could transform energy consumption across planets, a symbol of trust and mutual benefit. But even as we set the stage for this grand gesture, shadowy forces worked tirelessly to undermine us. Sabotage struck our labs, data was corrupted, and whispers of betrayal seeped through our networks like poison. I could feel the weight of unseen eyes watching every move, waiting for us to falter. One night, as I worked late in the lab, the lights flickered violently. My heart leapt as alarms blared, a security breach. Rushing to the control panel, I saw unauthorized access attempts flooding the system. Someone was trying to steal our research and destroy what we had built. I alerted Freddie immediately. His expression was grim as he initiated lockdown protocols. "They're desperate," he said, voice low. "We need to find out who's behind this before it's too late." We doubled down on security, tightening every digital and physical barrier. But the threat was relentless. A shadow war waged in silence and deception. Meanwhile, the pressure from the Council intensified. Delegates demanded progress updates, deadlines loomed, and skepticism grew. During a tense meeting, one elder accused us of reckless idealism, claiming our ambitions would provoke disaster. I stood my ground, refusing to be cowed. "We are the proof that change is possible," I declared. "Fear should not dictate the fate of our future." Freddie supported me, his voice firm and steady. "This is more than hope. It's a promise." The room was silent, the weight of our conviction hanging heavy in the air. Yet, doubts still lingered like ghosts. As days bled into nights, I found myself haunted by memories of the girl I was when I first met Freddie, innocent and naive, of the woman I had become, battle-hardened yet still yearning for connection. Could love truly survive in a universe fractured by centuries of mistrust? Then came the turning point. During a covert operation, Freddie and I uncovered undeniable evidence linking the sabotage to a secret faction within the Council, those who opposed unity and thrived on chaos. This revelation shook the very foundation of our mission. Betrayal wasn't just external. It was embedded in the very halls that were meant to judge us. Armed with this knowledge, we confronted the Council in a dramatic session that exposed the conspirators. The chamber erupted in outrage and denial, but the truth was undeniable. Some members were forced to resign, others faced investigation. The purge was painful but necessary. With the opposition weakened, the path toward peace cleared, though the scars remained. Our final demonstration proceeded with unprecedented cooperation. The shared technology sparked a wave of optimism, lighting up entire districts with clean, sustainable energy. The city's heart beat stronger, echoing the promise of a new era. Standing beside Freddie as the crowd cheered, I felt a surge of hope that transcended words. We had done the impossible, not just for ourselves, but for countless lives waiting for a chance at harmony. Yet I knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and peace was fragile. There would be more battles, more sacrifices. But for the first time, love and unity had a foothold, and I was ready to fight for it, no matter the cost. The victory we celebrated was bittersweet. a fragile moment of calm before the storm that I sensed was gathering on the horizon. Despite the Council's reluctant acceptance of our peace initiative, there were forces beyond politics and power hungry for chaos. The scars of betrayal still ran deep, and whispers of rebellion stirred in the dark corners of New Avalon and beyond. Freddie and I knew that the true test was yet to come. Our bond had been forged in fire, but now it would be challenged by shadows far darker than any we had faced before. Every day brought new threats. Encrypted messages filled with veiled threats, untraceable attacks on our communications, and unsettling disappearances of key allies. I felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on my shoulders, heavier than ever before. Protecting our fragile peace meant confronting not only external enemies but the demons within ourselves. Sleepless nights became the norm as I honed my abilities, pushing the boundaries of what my alien heritage allowed. Manipulating energy fields was no longer just a defensive act, but a vital weapon in our fight. Freddie stood unwavering beside me, his presence a constant reminder of what we were fighting for. Yet beneath his calm exterior, I sensed his own fears and doubts, the toll of leadership weighing on him silently. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the city, we found a moment to breathe amidst the chaos. "Do you ever wonder if it's worth it?" Freddie asked quietly, his gaze fixed on the stars. "Sometimes," I admitted. "But then I remember what we've already overcome, and who I'm fighting for." Our hands intertwined, a silent promise that whatever lay ahead, we would face it together. But fate had other plans. Intelligence reports revealed a new threat, an alliance of extremist factions from both human and alien worlds determined to shatter the fragile unity we had built. Their leader, a shadowy figure known only as Kale, was a master of manipulation and terror. Kale's forces struck swiftly and without mercy, targeting key infrastructure, spreading fear and chaos. The city's vibrant pulse faltered under the weight of uncertainty. I led vanguard operations, using my powers to shield innocent lives and counter the enemy's advances. Every battle was a test of endurance and will. Freddie coordinated defenses, rallying allies and maintaining morale despite growing losses. Our partnership became a beacon of hope for those who believed in peace. Yet the strain was undeniable. One fateful night, during a mission to intercept a weapons shipment destined for Kale's forces, we walked into a carefully laid trap. Ambushed and outnumbered, we fought fiercely, but the enemy's numbers overwhelmed us. Freddie was injured protecting me, his sacrifice a painful reminder of the stakes. As I cradled him, anger and desperation ignited a fierce power within me. Energy surged uncontrollably, illuminating the battlefield in blinding light. The attackers were thrown back, but I knew this power came at a cost. Exhausted and shaken, we retreated to the Vanguard safe house to regroup. Freddie's wounds were serious, and I tended to him with trembling hands, fear gnawing at my heart. "You saved me," he whispered weakly. "No," I replied firmly. "We save each other." The battle had left scars, visible and invisible, but it had also strengthened our resolve. The war for peace was far from over, and sacrifices would continue. Yet amid the pain and uncertainty, our love endured, an unbreakable bond shining brighter than any star. Together we would face the darkness, fight for the fragile light of hope, and dare to dream of a future where love conquered all. The days after Freddie's injury were some of the hardest I had ever faced. Watching him lie weakened but determined fueled a fire within me I hadn't known existed. The weight of leadership pressed down on my shoulders, but I refused to let it break me. Every decision I made felt like walking a razor's edge between survival and disaster. Our enemies, led by Kale, showed no mercy, their attacks growing more ruthless as desperation took hold. The city that once pulsed with life now bore the scars of battle. Streets scarred by explosions, neighborhoods gripped by fear. Yet amidst the chaos, the vanguard spirit remained unbroken. I became more than a leader. I became a symbol of resistance. My powers, once a secret, were now a beacon of hope for those who felt powerless. But with that power came scrutiny. Allies questioned my decisions. Some whispered doubts about how far I would go. I understood their fears. Trust was fragile, and the stakes were higher than ever. Freddie's recovery was slow but steady. His resilience amazed me, but I saw the toll the battle had taken on him. One evening, as we sat watching the city lights flicker, he spoke quietly. "Astraya, I'm proud of what we've built. But sometimes I fear it won't be enough." I reached for his hand, grounding myself in his strength. "It will be, because we fight together, and because love is the strongest weapon we have." Our connection deepened in those quiet moments, a refuge from the storm raging outside. But Kale was relentless. Intelligence reports uncovered a plot to assassinate key Vanguard leaders, including me and Freddie. The news hit like a thunderclap. We tightened security, but the threat weighed heavily on every step we took. One night, as I prepared for a public address meant to rally the city, an explosion rocked the building. Panic erupted and chaos ensued. I was thrown to the ground, ears ringing, heart pounding. Freddie found me amidst the debris, pulling me to safety. "We're not done yet," he said fiercely. "Not by a long shot." That night, as the city burned around us, we vowed to end Kale's reign of terror. Our fight became more than survival. It was a crusade to reclaim hope, justice, and peace. We coordinated with allies across systems, forging unexpected partnerships. The battle lines blurred as former enemies joined the cause, united by the vision we held. In the final confrontation, Kale's forces were vast, but so was our determination. The fight was brutal and unforgiving. I channeled every ounce of my power, bending light and shadow to protect those I loved. Freddie led the charge, his courage inspiring even the most fearful. When Kale fell, it was not just a victory of strength, but of conviction. The city began to heal, its people slowly reclaiming their lives from the darkness. As peace settled over New Avalon, Freddie and I stood atop a hill overlooking the dawn-lit skyline. "We made it," he whispered. I smiled, feeling the weight of everything we had endured. Together. Our journey had been perilous, filled with heartbreak and sacrifice. But it had also been a testament to the unyielding power of love. In a universe vast and divided, we had found unity, not just between worlds but within ourselves. And that was the greatest victory of all. The victory over Kale and his extremist faction was monumental, but as dawn broke over New Avalon, I felt the weight of everything still to come pressing on my chest. The city's scars told stories of the battles fought, burned-out buildings, shattered streets, and the echoes of lives forever changed. Yet amid the rubble, there was a flicker of something precious. Hope. Freddie and I stood together on the hill overlooking the city, the cool morning breeze carrying the scent of renewal and quiet determination. His hand found mine, grounding me in this fragile moment. "We've come so far," he murmured, eyes tracing the horizon. "But the road ahead, it's still long." I nodded, the truth settling deep inside me. Our battle had been won, but the war for peace, for acceptance, for unity between worlds was just beginning. The Council's acceptance of our peace treaty was tenuous at best. While many welcomed the change, old fears and ancient prejudices still lingered, whispering in shadows and stirring unrest among those unwilling to embrace this new era. We had exposed traitors and dismantled conspiracies, but new challenges emerged daily. There were factions within both human and alien societies that refused to see beyond centuries of distrust, who viewed our union as an abomination or a threat to their power. The delicate alliance we had forged was under constant siege. As the days passed, I found myself shifting roles, Warrior, diplomat, symbol of change, all demanding sacrifices that tested my strength and resolve. I spent hours in council meetings navigating political minefields, negotiating compromises, and advocating for the vulnerable caught between worlds. Freddie's role evolved too. He became a leader not just of the vanguard, but a bridge between communities, his grounded humanity inspiring hope in places I could not reach alone. Our love, once a secret flame, was now a beacon, celebrated by some, feared by others. The scrutiny was relentless. Rumors and propaganda tried to tarnish our image, painting us as dangerous radicals or pawns of alien agendas. But through it all, we remained steadfast, drawing strength from each other and the people who believed in our vision. One night, as the city's lights glittered below, Freddie and I found a rare moment of peace on that familiar hilltop. The stars above seemed closer, as if watching over us. "Do you think we can truly change everything?" he asked quietly. I smiled, tracing patterns in the sky with my fingers. Change is never easy, and peace is never guaranteed. But if we don't try, who will? The path ahead was uncertain, filled with risks and sacrifices yet to come. But I knew this was our destiny, to be catalysts of hope in a universe that so desperately needed it. I remembered the girl I once was, told to wait and return older, wiser. Now, standing beside Freddie, I realized I had become more than I ever dreamed possible. I was not just a survivor, but a leader, a warrior, and a symbol of a new beginning. Our story was no longer just ours. It was the story of two worlds intertwined, of love that defied stars and systems, and of a future that dared to dream of unity. As dawn turned to day, I made a vow that echoed in my heart: to protect this fragile peace, to fight for those who could not, and to never let fear dictate our fate. Because love, true, unyielding love, was the force strong enough to change galaxies. And together, Freddie and I would be its fiercest champions. The journey ahead was daunting, the challenges immense. But as I looked into Freddie's eyes, filled with unwavering resolve, I knew we would face whatever came next, side by side, unbreakable, and ready to build a future where love conquered all.